Hello everyone, I am Roshan CL from Department of Studies in Computer Science, Manasa Gangotri, Mysore. In this video, I am going to discuss about methods of clustering in machine learning. Before moving on to methods of clustering, it is important to know what is clustering. Clustering is basically a type of unsupervised learning method in which the task of dividing the population or data points into a number of groups such that data points in the same groups are more similar to other data points in the same group and dissimilar to the data points in other groups. It is basically a collection of objects on the basis of similarity and dissimilarity between them. So now here is an example for clustering. The data points in the graph below clustered together can be classified into one single group. We can distinguish the clusters and we can identify that there are three clusters in the below picture. Now let us see some general applications of clustering. Clustering analysis is broadly used in many applications such as market, research, pattern recognition, data analysis, and image processing. Clustering can also help the marketers discover distinct groups in their customer base, and they can characterize their customer groups based on purchasing patterns. So now here is an diagrammatic representation of applications of clustering. As we already know, there are some general applications of clustering are marketing and online advertisement, content analysis, spam filters, fake news identifying online fraud. Moving forward, let us now know the methods of clustering. The main types of clustering methods are partitioning methods, hierarchical clustering, fuzzy clustering, density-based clustering, model-based clustering. Now let us look on to one by one. Connectivity-based clustering, also known as hierarchical clustering. Hierarchical clustering is a method of unsupervised machine learning clustering where it begins with a predefined top-to-bottom hierarchy of clusters. It then proceeds to perform a decomposition of the data objects based on this hierarchy, hence obtaining the clusters. This method follows two approaches based on the direction of progress, that is, whether it is the top-down or bottom-up flow of creating clusters. These are divisive approach and agglomerative approach respectively. Divisive approach. This approach of hierarchical clustering follows a top-down approach where we consider that all the data points belong to one large cluster and try to divide the data into smaller groups based on a termination logic or a point beyond which there will be no further division of data points. This termination logic can be based on the minimum sum of squares of error inside a cluster or for categorical data. The metric can be a GINI coefficient inside a cluster. Hence, iteratively, we are splitting the data which was once grouped as a single large cluster to n number of small clusters in which the data points now belong to. It must be taken into account that this algorithm is highly rigid when splitting the clusters, meaning once a clustering is done inside a loop, there is no way that the task can be undone. Here is a diagrammatical representation of agglomerative and divisive cluster function. Moving further, agglomerative approach. Agglomerative is quite the contrary to divisive, where all the n data points are considered to be a single member of n clusters that the data is comprised into. We iteratively combine these numerous n clusters to fewer number of clusters. Let's say k clusters, and hence assign the data points to each of these clusters accordingly. This approach is a bottom-up one and also uses a termination logic in combining the clusters. This logic can be a number-based criterion or a distance criterion. Should not be too far to be merged, or variance criterion. Increased in the variance of the cluster being merged should not exceed a threshold. VAR method. So again, here is a diagrammatical representation of agglomerative hierarchical methods. Under agglomerative hierarchical methods, they are of two types: graph methods and geometric methods. Under graph methods, there are four types: single link, complete link, group average, weighted group average. Under geometric methods, there are three types: word, centroid, median. Now, under the hierarchical methods, we can further look up into several other methods. They are single linkage, complete linkage, average linkage, centroid method, Watts method. Single linkage: minimum distance or distance between the closest elements in clusters. The complete linkage: maximum distance between elements in clusters. Average linkage: average of distance of all pairs. Centroid method: combining clusters with minimum distance between the centroids of the two clusters. Watts method: combining clusters where increase in within cluster variance is to the smallest degree. Objective is to minimize the total within cluster variance. Here is an real-time example of hierarchical clustering, where animal is divided into two groups: vertebrate, invertebrate. Further, vertebrate and invertebrate are again divided into four more types. Vertebrate is divided into mammal, reptile, amphibian, fish, and invertebrate is divided into insect, crustacean, arachnid, and corals, which is represented in the below diagram. Moving on, let's see what is centroid-based clustering. Centroid-based clustering organizes the data into non-hierarchical clusters. In contrast to hierarchical clustering defined below, K-means is the most widely used centroid-based clustering algorithm. Centroid-based algorithms are efficient but sensitive to initial conditions and outliers. This course focuses on K-means because it is an efficient, effective, and simple clustering algorithm. Here is an example of centroid-based clustering. Moving further, let us know what is density-based clustering. Density-based clustering connects areas of high example density into clusters. This allows for arbitrary shaped distributions as long as dense areas can be connected. These algorithms have difficulty with data of varying densities and high dimensions. Further, by design, these algorithms do not assign outliers to clusters. Here is an example of density-based clustering. Now let us see what is distribution-based clustering. This clustering approach assumes data is composed of distributions such as Gaussian distributions. In figure 3, the distribution-based algorithm clusters data into three Gaussian distributions. As distance from the distribution's center increases, the probability that a point belongs to the distribution decreases. The bands show that decrease in probability. When you don't know the type of distribution in your data, you should use a different algorithm. So, here is an example of distribution based clustering. Now, let us see what is fuzzy clustering. The general idea about clustering revolves around assigning data points to mutually exclusive clusters, meaning a data point always resides uniquely inside a cluster and it cannot belong to more than one cluster. Fuzzy clustering methods change this paradigm by assigning a data point to multiple clusters with a quantified degree of belongingness metric. The data points that are in proximity to the center of a cluster may also belong in a cluster that is at a higher degree than points in the edge of a cluster. The possibility of which an element belongs to a given cluster is measured by membership coefficient that vary from 0 to 1. Fuzzy clustering can be used with datasets where the variables have a high level of overlap. It is strongly preferred algorithm for image segmentation, especially in bioinformatics, where identifying overlapping gene codes makes it difficult for generic clustering algorithms to differentiate between the images pixels and they fail to perform a proper clustering. So here is an example for fuzzy clustering. With reference to the diagram, we can see that while checking is it of hot water, a Boolean logic only sees for yes or no condition. But in the same case with fuzzy logic, it sees for all the three conditions of very much, little, and very less. At the end, I thank each and everyone for listening to my presentation. Thank you.